Alright, so yeah, welcome back to the stream. Last Kingdom is a in progress game being developed by Blue Iron Labs. We're a small indie company. If you've read through some of the CryEngine chat, indie just means that we're independent of any publishers or anybody else funding the project. It's purely us. And we're developing Last Kingdom as a medieval strategy game. That's set in a persistent world. We have a pretty solid framework for the game down, and we're just working through getting some of the final game structure set up, and just making sure that all of our is in place to do a technical demo. That's our next goal. Our next milestone is to come up with our version 0.1 technical demo, which Moose King, hello to you, has had the pleasure of doing some testing on. Not that it's always gone so well, but we do appreciate the feedback. If anybody else would like to give feedback as well, you can always hop into Discord. Link is going to be in the chat, where you can basically support the game through a server subscription through Discord. You can also do it through Patreon, but we've now set up directly in Discord if you would like. And you can get early playtest access to what we have so far. I wouldn't expect too much. It's rough around the edges. It's still very much a pre-alpha work in progress. But yeah, that's there if you guys want it. So today we're going to jump in. We're going to do a little bit of work with joint breakables in CryEngine, and something that I don't know if I've ever seen anybody fully set up before is doing joint breakables in CryEngine from within Blender. I know that there's a lot of very detailed documentation on how to do it through 3ds Max, maybe through Maya. I think it's primarily through 3ds Max, but there's nothing that really tells you how to do it in Blender. Luckily, we have a handy dandy BCry Exporter, which Zen updated for CryEngine 5.6, essentially for Python 3, and that has carried over into CryEngine 7, which is what we are currently building the game on, and that supports exporting from Blender to the engine. I'm pretty sure you can do this in FBX as well, and we'll talk a little bit about exactly how CryEngine interprets your mesh and what properties you need to set to get it to work. It is very much a structure-based setup, so you need to have the right hierarchy with the right empties, with the right objects, but at the end of the day, once it's all set up, it looks beautiful. So that's what we're going to dive into today. And before we do that, I just want to give a quick thank out to our existing patrons or people who have server subscriptions in Discord to support the game. CryJourney is a new one. Big thank you to you for supporting the game and our development. Moose, you know, I can't thank you enough for all the support you've given, and Anar as well for just the steadfast contributions that you guys give, on top of all the feedback and interaction you guys have with the community as well. So thank you. Speaking of Moose, what's your day looking like today? Got anything fun going on? You're gonna work more on your you're gonna work more on your little graveyard project? Nice. All right. Well, let's get into this. Yes. All right. So let's close out of all the scale form documentation, all the click documentation, which I now know about, and let's open Blender. All right. Hey Bloodshot, how's it going? I'm glad you could be here today. Hope your day's going well. All right, and I'm just going to open up this chat over here. Cool. And we should be good to go. All right, so we're going to make a joint breakable piece of stone. The idea is that we have a base piece of stone, a rock, let's call it a rock, in the game. And when our workers go over to that rock, they basically hit it with a pickaxe, and they're trying to get stone from that rock. Right now, it's very rudimentary in that you walk up to a rock, you hit it with a pick, and once you hit it with a pick enough, the rock disappears. Until at a specific set time in the future it respawns. What I want to implement today, hopefully, or at least get a rough idea of what this is going to be. We kind of played around a little bit with it in the last stream, but we never fully answered the question of what is breakable. I was essentially trying to achieve some sort of dynamic Boolean breakage, which I still have not been able to nail down exactly how to do that from within a plugin accessing the C++ API. However, I'm pretty sure that we can do it with joint breakables. So I played around a little bit with joint breakables last week, got a box set up, that's working. So I want to go through that process in Blender to show you guys how exactly that works. And then we will, from there, we'll import into the engine and see if we can get it to actually break with some play testing. So, all right, I'm going to objects. Going to add a mesh, which is going to be an extra. I don't know if I have it enabled. Hang on. I need to go into my preferences and turn on the plugin. I swear there's a rock generator add-on for Blender, and I think it got disabled when I updated it. So
and you have the rock generator here, the add-ons section. It's now pre-installed in Blender. You just have to enable it. So let's type extra
objects. That's what it is. Extra objects. So add mesh extra objects. This is what allows us to create a rock generator. So we'll go add. Mesh extras. And here's our rock generator. All right, so we've got this beautiful piece of rock, very high poly at this point. Let me actually undo that. I want to change some of the properties here. So we got one rock. Use random seed. Let's do not a river rock. Sand. Not sandstone either. Asteroid looks pretty cool actually. But we're not gonna do an asteroid. We'll just do a default. That's fine. Hey Yorma, how's it going? Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just change a couple things. We don't need deformation to be too high. I just need something that'll resemble a rock. So I think this will... Yeah, I'm going to go for a 2. 3. That looks pretty good. We'll make this a rock. Just to show you what kind of stats we have, this is 98,000 polygons. We're making a joint breakable rock. So this actually, I'm going to take it down in detail level. And another one. And now it's all weird. Okay, time to start over. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And now I'd save my presets. Oh my gosh. Display detail. I think that was my issue. My display detail was up my... Okay, this is fine. 3,000. We'll work with this. Yeah. Let's get a seed that looks good. You know what? I'm going to go with this one. This one looks good. All right. So here's our rock, which we're going to make into a joint breakable. Just take a look at the topology really quick. Okay. It's kind of... Okay. Yeah. It'll work. Just wondering if I should try to rotate it in a different direction. I'm going to. Gonna try to just make it proper, I guess you would say. I don't need material view. So I'm going to turn on snapping to surface. To face actually. And this should... Well, that's embarrassing, but that was supposed to snap it to the face of the mesh. Okay. So okay, that's gonna do it. So I'm gonna apply the transformations to this. Apply the scale. Apply the location. Kind of weird. Oh, because there's probably a modifier. Yeah. Let's go ahead and apply all those modifiers. I will apply all transforms, and then there's our rock. Pretty cool, right? That's a built-in Blender add-on that takes or costs no money. Topology is high. That's fine. That's fine. Once I get this working, we can refine it. And we're gonna have to make some additional rocks as well, just to fill out some different biomes. I want to sculpt this a little bit. I just want to smooth this out. Smooth. Smooth. There you are. This area right here is just a little bit jagged. Okay. And everything else is looking pretty fine. It's fine. It's good enough. I'm sure Yorm is gonna criticize me for my art assets, or my art skills. My art assets. I don't have any art assets. Still, there's a spot right here. It's messing with me, man. Okay. Okay. So we got rid of that. So what we're gonna do now is we have this rock, right? Simple rock. Nothing too complex to it. I need it to be into pieces. I need to cut it up into pieces. So there's another add-on for this. So if I go into edit mode, mesh. I think it's mesh. Maybe it's an object mode. Object. Quick effects. Cell fracture. There we are. Okay. So object, quick effects, cell fracture. I don't know the hotkeys to this. Quick favorites. Right click on buttons to add them to this menu. Objects, quick effects, cell fracture. Add to quick favorites. Wow, look at that. Okay. So cell fracture, recenter. Source limit, I don't want there to be that many of these. I just want to have like 5. And we'll apply that, and we've now broken our rock up into 5 pieces. Essentially. That's pretty cool. Right? Alright, so we have our base rock. I'm just going to call it the rock. I'm going to keep that in the collection. I'm going to create a new collection, which is going to be called Breakable Rock. That's CGF. I'm going to take my rocks and I'm going to move them into that node. I'm going to hide my base collection so we just have our breakable rock here. Actually, there's like little inconsistencies between it, so I think what we can do, because we don't need this to technically be dynamically joint breakable, what we're trying to do is essentially get it to, when it reaches 0 health, break apart, is we can keep a base mesh. So we'll have like a rock, and then we'll have a rock underscore breakable. And we'll have to do the same thing for the trees as well. So of course, at that point, why not just spawn like 5 different breakable pieces? Well, because I want to do joint breakables. Even though cell fracture has fractured it too much. Actually, maybe there's a setting for that. Maybe I should go back. I can't. So I'm going to delete my fractured ones. I'm going to redo this one. Source limit. Is there a spacing or... There's no 0 margin. Source limit. I don't think there should be... I don't think there should be any space between them. Apply split edge. There's no edges. Split islands. Maybe it's just because the geometry of the mesh is too complex. Is that possible? Well, let's just try to decimate it a little bit then. give it 10% plane. Don't exactly want low poly, but that should do it. Alright, and then I'm going to reset the mesh normals. Reset vectors. Ah! Edge, clear sharp. Okay, so mesh normals are still a little bit weird, probably because it's not triangulated. This is where Rev makes fun of me. I just triangulated the faces. Yeah, still some weird stuff, but I can work with this now. So I'm going to do the self fracture again, and it's still it's still giving them space, which is interesting. Well, it's not interesting. It's kind of frustrating, actually. Wonder if I can just scale these to get rid of it. No, I can't. All right. Well, we'll come back to that. I'll probably have to fix that offline. Or just, yeah, have a base rock that doesn't break, and then have a breakable that we break dynamically whenever we spawn it in. But here's our base rock, right? We've got 5 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go ahead and import my other breakable. My other breakable box from the project that is properly set up, so we can reference it. Assets, objects, destructible. Why isn't it there? Because it's not an FBX. That's why. So let me hop back in there. Assets, objects, destructible. Alright. So we'll open this box. I'm going to export it as an FBX. Export FBX. Okay, we'll export that. Don't save the changes. File, import, FBX. And we'll go back to the destructible folder. And here's our box. Oh my gosh, it's big. Alright, move that off to the side. See, I don't think on this box that it actually has any seams or any holes in the seams. So that's interesting. Or maybe I'm just blind. That could be. That very well could be. All right. So I'm going to take these 5 objects and actually scale them just a tad. Not to match because the box is pretty big, but each cell here is a meter. So this is like just over a meter long rock, which isn't huge. Actually, yeah, we'll make it a little bit bigger. So what we do here to get this to export as a breakable object in CryEngine is we basically need to add a bunch of helpers between the pieces and then add properties to those pieces to specify how much force needs to be applied to a joint to break it. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pick a base object that will like be the last man standing. So we'll make it the center one right here. Let me just go ahead and apply transforms to these. Yeah. So let's get rid of that again. So this is going to be my base object. So what I want to do is I want to basically add a base helper, which is just an empty in Blender. So I'm going to make it a cube. And this is going to be rock. Rock destroyable helper. Just so we don't mess up anything with naming conventions. And actually, I'm gonna add that not as a cube, because that's just a main. That's just a parent wrapper. So here's an access. There's a rock destroyable helper. Looking within that, we have a main mesh. So this is going to be our main rock right here. And then the other 4 pieces are going to be the remains. So I'm going to need to actually get rid of that. So rock goes under the destroyable helper, and then each remain has each remain gets applied under as the same one, but as a remain, if that makes sense. So I don't think there's anything else I need from here necessarily. I'm just going to go ahead and destroy that, because that gives us the structure that we're looking for. Okay. So we have a rock, and then we have remain 1. And we'll just add these as an additional meshes. I don't know if you actually have to call them remain. Did I actually import the right one? Hang on. Now I'm doubting myself. I don't think I imported the right box. Shoot. Hang on. Yeah, this isn't going to work. This was the one I worked on last. All right, hang on. Let's get the right structure in place before I start messing around with this. Okay, this looks a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and export this as an FBX. That's joint breakable shared. Don't save this. I'm going to go ahead and import it into here. Same sort of thing, right? Okay, so I'll have to rename these, but just so I have them all in the same place. All right, so we have our helper. We have our joints, and joints are just joints between 2 adjoining pieces of the object. So if you think about how this is created, so since this is our base, we're going to have a joint between the base and this one, the base and this one, and the base and this one. And then we're going to have a joint between this one and this one. So there's going to be 4 total joints. For this object, I don't think there's any. Actually, there might be, yeah, there's overlap back here. So basically, there's going to be 4 joints connecting each of these 4 to the space node here. And those are all going to be helpers. So I'm going to go into wireframe mode, or see-through mode, and I'm going to add a empty. I'm going to delete the joints for the box so I can reuse the name. Empty cube. Joint L1. Gonna scale this down to be whatever. It's not super important. Move this along the y-axis. turn off snapping because that's annoying. So all this helper needs to do is intersect the two geometries. All right, so that intersects, that's joint all1. I'm going to duplicate it across Y. This will be joint O2. And then we'll duplicate it. We'll duplicate the one. This will be joint 3, but we need to make sure that it's crossing. Go to wireframe mode. We need to make sure that it's crossing between the two meshes here. So it is, but I want to move it more centered. So yeah, so it's now in the middle. So this is going to be joint 3. And then let's make a fourth one, which is going to be connected at the back here. Okay, that's going to be joint 4. All right, so these are all going to go under the helper. And then we just have our rock and then our rock part. So our rock, yep. So then I'm just going to rename these to be part. Okay, those are our 4 parts. Now, none of these have physics geometry to them, and I don't want to make it too complex, so I'm just going to What do you mean this isn't going to work? Better use states. Help me understand what you're trying to tell me. Just add a base material. And we'll set the rock material for all our meshes. Rock, 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 rock. So now that I have all my rocks here, like I said, I need to create the collision geometry. So I'm just going to duplicate call it rock proxy, parent it to the rock, and then I'm going to change the material to be the proxy physics no draw proxy here, and then I'm going to just decimate it really quick so that it's not, so it's just not as geometry heavy. So it's 232 is the base, so this will give us why does it feel like there's more than one mesh here? Because it's not triangulated. Of course. So I'll go ahead and just decimate that down a little bit more. Apply transformation. I'm going to triangulate all of these meshes. So I'm going to do the same thing for the other 3 then. Again, I just need some base collision geometry. That I can use to interact with everything else in the world. I'm still curious, Moose, what you mean by better using states. This one then. The physics proxy, parent it, decimate it. That's how we do. Bit more than that one. All right, and last one. Set the proxy, change the material to the proxy node draw, modifier to decimate it. Let's just get rid of the. Huh. Okay. And we'll parent that to the 4th one. All right. So each one of these rock parts has a proxy, has a normal rock part, and we have the 4 joints that are holding this together. Time to export this to CryEngine and see what happens. All right, so let's go ahead and delete that. We no longer need it. So I'm going to go ahead and add an export node for this using the BCry Exporter for Blender. If you guys don't have it, you should get it. Rock destroyable. So here's a rock destroyable. This, and actually I gotta move this all in. Alright, so we have our rock destroyable CGF. This is what specifies what the file name is going to be. These joints are the 4 joints again that will basically tell the engine that the pieces that are connected via these joints need to stay connected until they receive enough physical force. I then have my 5 different pieces of the rock, all within the same hierarchy with their respective physics proxies. And this should be the setup that we need to export to the engine. So I'm going to go ahead and save this to a folder, to destructible, like a rock. I'll go ahead and export this to the engine right after I launch it. The reason why I launch it first is because it won't compile materials, or maybe it's geometry. It won't compile something if the engine isn't running, which is probably an oversight in the plugin, but it's a free plugin, so I'm not complaining. Alright, so now that I have this specified, I've got the material to be generated that's going to generate our rock material. Just one. Then I've got all my normals materials. I'm not going to merge all nodes because that's the incorrect way to do it. So let's go ahead and bring CryEngine over. I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff, I'm not using it right now. We'll go ahead and open up the test level. Open. Alright, here's a test level, so let's go back into the asset browser, objects destructible. We have our boxes and cubes here, so in theory when I export this, we should see it show up. Let's just go ahead and take a look at the log. Looks like it doesn't like the proxies because they're not manifold. And what manifold basically means is they're not completely enclosed. So I'll go ahead and hide everything but my proxies. And I'll just do edit, point, merge by distance, and we'll do this 0.1. Yeah, that'll work. All right. Same thing with this one. Merge by distance 0.1. Merge by distance 0.1. Merge by distance 0.1. Merge by distance. I did that one already. Okay, so again, these are just the physics proxies, so it's not super important that they all line up. Although this one is being troublesome. Merge at last. Fix that all. I'm also gonna go ahead and just get rid of these sharp edges. Not that it makes a difference for the proxies, but 216 total proxies for all 4 pieces of the mesh. Not too bad, I don't think. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and export this again. Regenerated materials. There's still errors in the proxies. Let's look at face orientation. Yeah, there's weird. I'm gonna have to find a different method to break up those objects because there's just weird. It's just weird stuff happening. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to clean this up really quick. That piece looks alright. That piece looks alright. That piece looks alright. It's one of the problems with dynamically generated stuff. It just never quite works. Looks alright. One straggler. Okay, so I'll take these pieces and snap to the cursor just to bring them back together. Get rid of face orientation because everything's fine. Alright, save it, re-export it. Oops. My Blender's thinking it might be crashing. That would be unfortunate. Hey, Blender's crashed more in this stream than CryEngine has. That's a positive, right? We can look at this as a positive, I think. Still hoping it comes back. Come on. Just checking to see if there's some service or process that it's waiting for potentially with the CryEngine compiler. CryEngine source compiler. But I'm not seeing it. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to close that. It's really unlike Blender. You don't typically see stuff like that. And I think I just saved it, so let me just make sure that the geometry is still looking good. I think so. So I'll go ahead and export this again. Just gotta show the rock faces. Get this system console back up just to see what's going on. Generate materials. Okay, so there's just a couple more things that are the joint nodes have a distorted transform matrix. I think that's fine. This rock proxy is there's still something wrong with this one. So let's just find it. And actually, let's just edit merge by distance. Really? There must be some other process going on that's causing this to crash. That is really unfortunate. I could. See, there's 0 vertices that are missing though. Three errors in rock proxy, which is this one right here. So something isn't. Might be something here. A little funky. Snap to cursor, selection to cursor. Alright, save again. I'll export it. Alright, that was it. So, no physics errors. There's a warning about the transform of the joints, but I think that's fine. I guess we'll find out pretty soon. Alright, so here's our destructible rock. And it exported the base rock as well. So let me go ahead and... No, did it? I don't think it exported anything. Let me go ahead and face triangulate again. Rev's probably looking at me with a side look right now, but oh my gosh, it's crashing again. What's going on? Blender's like, I gotta. Blender's like, oh, you're trying to see which one's gonna crash more? Hold my beer. All right. All right. So again, I'm just gonna select these all, edit them all, face, triangulate them. And we'll export to the engine. Okay, let's hop back into CryEngine. So here's our destructible object. Let me just fix the material real quick. Just dock it in this main window. The diffuse color is going to be a gray. The specular color is going to be 383838, and I'm going to turn the shininess down. Don't actually have a diffuse or UVs for this, I don't think so. Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna. do I want to? Yes, I'm gonna just unwrap these. I overwrote the materials because I had no UVs. Okay, we got a texture now. Actually, I don't know if it overwrote the material. It didn't. Which is kind of nice, I guess. So we've got a diff here, so we've got a DDN A, I'm sure. I don't know if we have a specular. I guess we'll find out. Looks very dark. Because I have a specular map, I should not have a diffuse color. Or a specular color. It should be white. Cool. Alright, here's our rock. So notice there's seams, and like I said, I know they're there, and that'll have to be fixed, but it's fine for now. Alright, so there's a CVar for joints. Okay, those are big. Okay, so they're all 0 kilograms right here, which you guys can see. So yeah, that's exactly the plan, Moose. Or that will be the plan. As long as everything else works out. So we have our joints here. And again, that was with the CVar's P debugged joints, and you can see that there's the 4 of them, very large, and they have a 0 kilogram. They have a 0 kilogram mass here, which is what I need to fix. So just creating joints between objects does not work. It's like, yeah. There's a 51 kilogram something down there. I need to basically set it to destroy. And actually, I'm going to convert this from a brush to an entity. Yeah. We'll create that as a static. It shouldn't have to be static. Okay. So I guess you don't have to define any properties for it to break apart. I'm going to go ahead and disable that debug view. So let's stop physics again. We'll play it. I think the reason that's happening is because it's below the world, and so it's immediately colliding. So we'll put it up. Okay. So right now, all right. So to summarize what is happening, if I simulate physics and I'm like, oh, here's my rock. Maybe? Okay, well, those parts aren't breaking. Hang on, let me see why, because they should be all. The joints should all break apart. So there's something set up wrong with the with the object, or I need to set the actual properties within the mesh itself. So I did not. Good call. That's a good call. Well, technically that's what this is, isn't it? Let me just open up my other working example for reference. And I can't do it from the same window. So this one has a helper. There's a helper at the bottom. I wonder if there's a transform issue. No, the transforms. It's off. It's definitely offset. So let me go take a look at my rock here. Yeah, so it's all based on that original transform though. So let me go ahead and move these up. I need to take the joints with me. Because yeah, Moose, I think you're right. I think that helper needs to be oh, I shouldn't do that. Okay. So we'll take these all and we'll apply the transforms. And we'll export. And so yeah. So going back to the engine. Yeah, that one piece is breaking apart just fine. Which is, I don't think that's just one of the side pieces. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, I have a helper there. Oh, I see. You think that these helpers are actually anchoring it to the... Okay. That could be. But why is this one not working then? Let me go ahead and move these elsewhere then. Okay, that one's fine. This one's gonna go over here. Okay, so those are away from the other ones. I'm pretty sure this intersects with the geometry. I'm just going to move everything down just a little bit more. Alright, I'll export it again. Let's just take a look. Okay. So another piece is breaking, which is good. But there's a couple pieces that still aren't. Maybe it's a scaling issue. Apply scale. Oh, now it's just not breaking at all. Rip. Okay, well, yeah, let me go ahead and just scale those back up just a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and add weights to... Going to go ahead and add weights to my mesh pieces. Just in case they were too small for some reason. No. Okay. Well, let's take a look at the joints again. Joints. So the scale's right. they're pink. I don't think pink is the right color for these joints. Or maybe they are. I gotta add some properties to this, I'm pretty sure. So let me hop back into my base box. So the way that CryEngine's physics system and really geometry system in general works is that you can add custom properties to the geometry itself and it will be saved underneath the CGF file. And this is actually something that I need to explore a little bit to figure out if we can create our resources via just raw geometry nodes with properties assigned to them, instead of having every single tree, every single rock existing on the level be an entity. Right, yeah, exactly. And so what you have to do is CryEngine has specific properties that they look for within their physics system to interact with objects in different ways. So, like, this is the base box here, and this is basically the core block of the box. It has an entity property and it has a mass of 20, and every single other one has a mass of 20. So obviously it's not breaking, but let's go ahead and set this up properly and see if we can't get that to work. And the CryBlend or the BCry Exporter also actually has oh, that's interesting. There's I added those joints manually. I wonder if there's a specific property that needs to be added, which actually I guess I can check. Yeah, okay. So I need to add the player can break and the limit custom properties to each of my breakable joints. That I overlooked that. So but where there. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and add 4 more joints actually, because the ones that BCry creates are automatically linked or automatically set up, I believe. So I'll select that one. I'll add a joint. The joint size is 0.10. Let's do a limit of 20. We'll add that and just scale it down to be smaller. And that's the joint 01. So I'm just gonna rename this to 02. Let's find my joint 04. So I'm going to again add a joint. Player can break. I need to add that toggle to the other one as well. Oops. There's a user-defined properties. So player can break. Yep, cool. All right, so I'm gonna add 2 more. I've got to pull it out first. Delete the old one. No. Oh no. I've made a mistake. And I'm not going to be able to save all my work. Oh, maybe I am. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. All right, try this one more time. So I'll start with joint 1. So add a joint is player can break. It's got a limit of 20. So we'll move it out, and then we'll do a snap to active, and then we'll delete it. We'll go ahead to 2, again, add a joint. Move it out, select it, snap to active, and then delete the other joint. We'll do number 3, I guess, next. So we'll add the joint, move it out. And I need to snap this one to 3. 3 to 3. Snap to active. And then I'll delete joint 3, and this was 1, this was 2, and then we'll add one for 4. Call it 4, out, and we'll snap to active, and again delete the old one, and fix the naming of that one. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So the only other thing is I need to add the mask property to well, first I need to add the entity property to the base one, right? So it's entity, and I'm going to use a mass. I'll make it 40 kilograms. And these properties, they can be added by hand. They don't need to be they don't need to be added through the CryBlend add-on, the BCry, sorry. The BCry add-on, it just makes it very, very easy to work with them. So I'm going to go for each one of these rocks, I'm going to add a mass of 40. Let's not use mass 40. Use mass 40. Use mass 40. Okay. What are these joints doing out here? Are they in 2 places at once? Oh my gosh. Let's move these in. Oh no. Yeah, that's... I wonder if they always just exist at the top level, or if that's a bug. The other helper doesn't exist at the top level. Okay, that might be an issue, but we'll worry about that in a second. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and export this to CryEngine again. So I've added my mass to my different pieces. I've added properties to my joints. So let's go ahead and reset this. Actually, let's make sure that it actually exported. Joint 02 contains a distorted transform matrix. joint 2. Let's apply the scale then. Export to CryEngine. Okay. No errors. So still not breakable. I don't think the yeah, there we go. There we go. Alright, so the total mass was 10. The total mass of my breakable was 10, so that was causing issues. Also, funny bug, if you physicalize a joint breakable object and then you change the mass, it will spawn like a bunch of them anyway. Alright, so here's our rock. 40 kilograms per piece. If I let's try on the joint helpers, yeah? We're already debugging the joints. Alright. Whoops. Okay. Can we classify that as working? Is that technically working? Let me turn the debug off. Okay. So yeah, here's our rock, and again, you can see the seams, but I honestly thought that would cause more force than it did. Yeah, but then it breaks apart into these 5 pieces. So that's how you create a joint breakable. They're like stuck to each other. I'm pretty sure that's because I was moving the base around. What if it's a static? Because technically I don't need all of the mesh to be able to move. I just need the idea was to have a base part of it that just doesn't move, and then have pieces around it break. Of course the mass is back to, I thought. Make it a static. So if I go ahead and simulate physics again, yeah, it goes to 0. Maybe I can set the mass of the initial rock part to a very high number. Like, let's call it like 4,000. Okay. We'll create a rigid again. Literally had no effect. Except for this piece right here, which is just floating. It's so weird. It's like, because the base piece is here, it's like sticking to it. Alright, yeah. Well, the idea is there. I mean, this is the This is the object. I have to figure out if I can blow it up as a static mesh. I might not be able to. Game. I think there's a way to simulate physics. Level physics. Maybe not. So. Okay, so right, we'll stop pulling that one. Simulate physics, and then we'll grab this 2 kilogram log, which is not really playing super nice. I need something bigger. Weight 20. Let's make it 200. Okay, 200 wasn't enough. Let's go ahead and make it 250 is a cap. That's unfortunate. All right. I just wanna drop something else on top of this. Beach rocks, beach medium, canyon rock B. Technically should work. Let me give you a very high mass, 10,000. And we'll make you rigid. Yep. Okay, so save it, and then let's just... Okay. Okay, and this was my base, so let's go ahead and simulate that one more time. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the base still does move, but then again, this is like a very heavy rock. I think I set my mass for this one to what? $4,000, yeah. So let me go ahead and just change it down to something not so high. Let's call it like 200. Should be enough. No, not enough. Let's do 500. Let's just go ahead. Can't be a little bit better. Still not enough. The quick thing to do here is going to be to turn the limit way down. To like 2 or something. The limit is what defines how much force needs to be applied to be able to break a joint. This is a rigid, yeah. Still saved as 20. That's bizarre. Okay, now it's 2. It's weird that it's not applying a force. Or not a great enough force. Anyway, I guess kind of besides the point. So yeah, we've successfully imported a rock into CryEngine, a breakable rock that breaks. The joints are funny whenever you move like the base one. Yeah, so it breaks into pieces. So the only thing that, Seamoose. The only thing that we'll have to do next time is get this to properly break when fully harvested. So I know we played around with that a little bit last week or last stream, but we'll do that again in the future one. Probably we may pick a different time. We'll see. I'm saying I'm a lot, but anyway. Yeah. Thanks for coming to the stream today. Hopefully you learned a thing or two with Blender, with user-defined properties on geometry, and playing around with the CryBlend exporter. Hopefully next time we can get this kind of wrapped up so that stone harvesting is in a more stable spot, or at least closer to the final goal of what we're looking to achieve with it. But that's going to be it for today's stream. Again, if you guys want to join the Discord, check out what we're working on, come see what everyone's up to, or just come chat with the rest of the guys, feel free. Guys and girls in the Discord, see what we're working on. Just come check out the progress we're making. It's pretty exciting. Compared to like a year ago, I think we're a lot closer to having some vision of what this might be, or what at least the tutorial, the technical demo is going to be. And just with the work that we're doing right now, kind of polishing stuff up. Very excited to see how that turns out, and then very excited to see all the interaction that you guys have, and all the reactions to what it looks like when you guys actually get to play it. So yeah, that'll be it for today's stream. Thanks for coming. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.